Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be discussing low expectations because I think that's where our reality check is as a community. The developers have not said anything, and I think what this probably means is there are internal deliberations going on. I don't really think that these games developers really have a clear vision. I think they have a general, vision of what they want to do, which is continue to bring out content for the game. But their vision, I don't think right now is very clear. If it was, they would have made it known. So going into state of the game tomorrow, I will not put a lot of stock in what will be said in terms of hyping myself up. Now, many of us who are here, we're grown adults. We know this already. This is not something that anybody has to tell us. We just have to make sure that some people are not misunderstood as to what they need to be expecting when it comes to tomorrow's broadcast. The developers are most likely going to come out and I don't know what they're going to say. I'm not going to put any expectations of any kind, because the lower your expectations, the difficult it is for you to be disappointed. And so we ought not to be disappointed at this point, because the way the game has been handled, it makes things really complex. And now, as I may throw things out there and talk about maybe Destiny comparison, I think that's appropriate because both games have been either in one point living at the other's shadow or, at one point, overshadowing the other. Now, many people may say, well, there hasn't been any time where the Division was in a better state than Destiny. I disagree. You have to go to Destiny 1. There was a small window here and there. But Bungie's situation is also different from Massive's situation, but it seems like Massive doesn't necessarily want to quickly reduce its learning curve, in the sense that Massive made some design, changes that were very frustrating for a lot of the player base. And this goes back to a lot of what I've been saying in my past few videos. I've been talking about name recognition, and I've been talking about similarity in design. And a lot of people have said, well, you can't compare apples to oranges because comparing, things like incursions to raids is not the same thing and all that stuff. And I'm like, not if you played the Division long enough and you see similar design concepts, there is almost no way you can say I'm comparing apples to oranges, because we can almost talk about how similar most of the systems in the raids are very similar to the systems in the incursions. And then if you even want to say, okay, well, it's nice to actually bring new changes to the game, I'll say fine, changes are great. There's nothing wrong with changes, but when you do things in a sense too drastically and change the overall mechanics of a game, I think it eventually takes a toll on the community. And the Division is a very young game to have received a lot of the changes that it actually did. I think that's what really, kind of went awry with a lot of the people who play the game. The changes were too much in a short period of time. Now, you may say, but they had 3 years to learn from the first game. The truth is, as much as 3 years sounds, it's very little compared to other industry platformers that have been doing well for, let's just throw out 16 years. 16 years is a perfect example for us to look at, and you wonder what game has been releasing for 16 or let's just say 13 years consistently for this 13 years, doing significantly well every time they bring a product to the market. You guessed it, Call of Duty. Now, Call of Duty has made changes in its titles in terms of how it releases them, but overall there are very similar things that always show up almost every time a Call of Duty game or a Black Ops game of some kind is released. You know that you're going to be getting specific things like zombies, you're going to be getting team deathmatch, you're going to be getting, all these really cool things. And even when there are innovations, there are usually times where they bring back classic mechanics to the game, or classic maps, or all the different things that you can expect to have found in the old Call of Duty games to the new games. I can almost say that with some certainty, it's almost in a sense where if you leave Call of Duty for, maybe say you dropped Call of Duty like 4 years ago, if you were to pick it up today, I can almost say that with some certainty, you're not going to feel lost if you came back to the game. Now, I'm saying this based on somebody who has been a Call of Duty person for a long time. If you watch, there's a gaming channel that I watch a lot. It's called Girlfriend's Review. If you watch their review of Call of Duty, the recent Call of Duty, his girlfriend, is reviewing this game, and she says her boyfriend had dropped Call of Duty for a long time, and he picked it back up and got, polished his game again. And for him to be able to just pick the game back up and not have a huge learning curve after multiple editions of the Call of Duty games you have to say that there is something to be said about keeping things in a similar pattern that just works for gamers. And I'm not, negating the fact that change needs to come in. I'm just saying that change needs to be incremental other than drastic. The developers have made such drastic changes that it seems like in such a short period of time, the changes have not necessarily registered well with the community. So this is kind of where we are. We're in a young game. And, hopefully they are able to fix it fast, because time just really counts very fast. Some people are even mentioning things like the Division 3, which I am highly, highly against. They don't need to speak anything of such. Even if they have a Division 3 game, they just need to keep it under lock and key. It must not be leaked. They need to say nothing about it, because this particular game needs to at least start having some semblance of, what the good things about the first game. I mean, all they need to do is take what was good about Division 1, take the things good about Division 2, and just make it in the current game that we have right now. Add maps, add cities, and as you're bringing cities, start to provide some in-depth gameplay for them. A lot of people have said these things seem very impossible, they seem very expensive, but what else are you going to be using the money for? Instead of going to develop a third Division game, why not create a 3-year roadmap that is very intricate and announce it to your community? Bungie did the exact same thing, and it brought people on board. Everybody looked at Bungie's vision and said, this vision is very clear. The game might not be perfect, but the vision seems very clear. People can rally around a vision, and it's that vision that is making some of the top runners in the industry right now to be what they are. CD Projekt Red provides a clear vision. We want to make video games that are enjoyable to gamers, and we want to treat our gamers with respect by making sure that the content is actually at the top quality that it can be. And then we can then start to talk about what other intricate aspects of the game can look like. So they first created their vision and said, we don't want to add multiplayer just yet to Cyberpunk, and then they eventually said, you know what, it's going to be something that's going to be coming later on. That is a clear vision. So when you buy Cyberpunk 2077 and on the very first day you launch it, you're not expecting to go be hopping into some kind of multiplayer thing with a whole bunch of buddies. It's not there. It's going to be coming at a future date, and that's a clear vision. And yet for the Division 2, they're about to release year 2 content. We don't even know when that is. We don't even know, like when episode 3 is going to be coming. And, we're just in limbo with a game that's already been released. So these are the two things that I would say are making me keep my expectations low over the course of the next few days and what state of the game will bring. The first fact that the dramatic changes cannot be easily walked back, and the second that there is no clear vision that has been communicated with the community right now. So that's what I'll just encourage a lot of people to do. I know a lot of people know this. Some people are just like, whoa, they're probably not going to watch it unless somebody else says that there are some things to glean from. And so this is, I think, where we need to be going tomorrow. We just need to be watching and seeing what they're going to do. I made a video talking about how I feel the tempo of the state of the game needs to go. It doesn't need to be a joke around type thing. It just needs to be a very serious, solid presentation. And to be very honest, if what they're going to be talking about very soon on the state of the game doesn't have a lot of weight, I'm very tempted to say they'd rather not bring a shallow or piecemeal state of the game. They need a robust state of the game right now as a thing to say, okay, the community needs a healthy announcement. The community needs a healthy discussion that is, full of what we're going to be doing. Being secretive, I don't think is actually very helpful right now. So I'm going to get out of y'all's hair. I guess I'll see you in our next video. We'll see what the state of the game brings. Hopefully it brings some good news that we can rally around. But like I said, keep your expectations low, and it's going to be very difficult to be disappointed. Thank you very much for your time and audience, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.